Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It is finally Friday, and dude, we have an absolutely packed show for you today. I am Taylor, your resident AI hype person.
And I am Morgan. I am definitely ready for the weekend to start, but we have some pretty massive AI news to get through before we can officially log off.
Oh, totally. We are covering everything from a massive new ChatGPT subscription tier to a really serious, precedent-setting legal investigation involving OpenAI and an actual real-world tragedy.
Right. Plus, we will look at a fascinating new Stanford study on multi-agent AI systems and some flashy new data visualization features coming straight from Google Gemini.
Okay, so kicking things off, I saw on TechCrunch that ChatGPT just dropped a brand new Pro plan. And dude, it is a whopping $100 a month.
Wait, $100? That is a really huge jump. Previously, it was just a standard $20 plus plan, right? Who was actually going to pay that much money?
Exactly. It used to jump straight from $20 all the way to the $200 enterprise tier. This $100 plan is apparently exactly what power users have been begging for.
I mean, I guess there is a missing middle market there, but what does $100 a month actually get you? It better include some serious dedicated compute power.
Oh, it absolutely does. You get way higher message limits, especially on their newest and smartest models. It is basically designed for developers and super users who constantly hit rate limits.
That makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. OpenAI really needs to monetize those heavy users who are draining their expensive server resources on the $20 plan.
Totally. And honestly, if you use it for coding or heavy data analysis all day long, $100 is like nothing compared to the hours of time you save.
Fair enough. I'm just highly skeptical that everyday consumers will bite at that price point. But for the professional crowd, it probably pays for itself in just a few hours.
Yeah, exactly. I am seriously considering upgrading myself this weekend just so I never have to see that annoying "you have reached your limit" error message ever again.
Well, let me know if it is actually worth the steep price tag before I pull the trigger. I will happily stick to my basic $20 plan for now.
So, moving on to something way more serious, TechCrunch is reporting today that the Florida Attorney General just announced a massive investigation into OpenAI.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredibly heavy and unprecedented. What exactly are they investigating? Is this about data privacy violations or mass copyright infringement again?
No, dude, it is way darker than that. It is actually connected to a truly tragic shooting that happened at Florida State University last April. 2 people were killed.
That is horrific. But how does a company like OpenAI factor into a physical, real-world attack like that? Did the shooter actually use ChatGPT for something specific?
Yeah, according to the official reports, ChatGPT was allegedly used to help plan the attack. And now, the family of one of the victims is officially planning to sue OpenAI.
Wow, this is exactly the kind of absolute nightmare scenario that legal regulators have been warning about for months. If an AI provides actionable advice for violence, liability questions are huge.
Right? It is terrifying to think about. OpenAI obviously has safety guardrails in place, but people clearly find clever ways around them. The legal fallout from this is going to be insane.
It is going to be a massive landmark case for sure. It really tests the absolute limits of Section 230 and whether AI companies can be held legally responsible for generated content.
Totally. We will definitely be keeping a very close eye on how this specific case develops, because it could literally change the entire landscape of AI regulation moving forward.
Absolutely. It is a very sobering reminder that as these digital tools get more incredibly capable, the potential for severe real-world harm scales up right alongside them.
Okay, switching gears to something a bit lighter. I saw this fascinating new study from Stanford on the decoder. It is all about multi-agent AI systems, which are like the hottest trend right now.
Right. Literally everyone in the industry is talking about teaming up AI agents to solve complex problems. The baseline assumption is always that multiple agents working together are inherently smarter than one.
Exactly. But the Stanford researchers actually found that the perceived advantage of multi-agent systems mostly just comes from using way more compute power. It is not necessarily some emergent magic.
Very interesting. So you are essentially saying that if you just gave a single standard AI agent the exact same amount of compute time, it would perform just as well?
Pretty much. For a whole lot of standard tasks, if you just let one model think longer, it matches the multi-agent team. But dude, there are some super cool exceptions to this rule.
I figured there had to be a catch somewhere in the data. What kind of specific exceptions are we talking about? Where does the multi-agent approach actually justify the extra architectural complexity?
So, when tasks require distinct personas or basically debating totally different viewpoints, multi-agent systems still win. Like if you need a specialized coder and a separate, strict code reviewer, agents are way better.
That makes perfect logical sense. It is exactly like human collaboration. You don't just need more raw brain power, you need diverse, conflicting perspectives challenging each other to catch hidden blind spots.
Yes, exactly. It is so unbelievably cool to see actual rigorous science backing up when we should use these complex setups versus just letting a single large language model cook for a while.
It is highly practical information, too. Enterprise developers can save a massive ton of money on API calls if they know a single agent with more processing time will get the job done.
Okay, for our very last story today, Google Gemini is getting a massive, highly anticipated upgrade. According to the decoder, Gemini now generates fully interactive visualizations right inside the main chat window.
Oh, that is quite interesting. So they are basically playing catch up with Anthropic's features? Claude has had those interactive artifacts for a little while now, and they are incredibly useful for developers.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, Google's specific implementation looks so incredibly slick. You can literally tweak and explore the charts and graphs dynamically without ever leaving the flow of the conversation. It is awesome.
I do absolutely love interactive data tools. But what does tweak and explore actually mean in this specific context? Can I upload my own custom datasets and manipulate the core variables in real time?
Yes, you can hover over specific data points, filter things out on the fly, and ask the AI to instantly regraph the information based on new parameters. It is like having a tiny personal data scientist.
That is genuinely a very powerful feature. Static charts are fine for basic reports, but being able to drill down into the data interactively lowers the barrier to entry for complex data analysis significantly.
Totally. I am already thinking about how much precious time this is going to save me when I am trying to make sense of massive, confusing spreadsheets. It is a total game changer.
Let's hold off on officially calling it a game changer until we see how often it hallucinates the actual data points. But I will certainly admit, the user experience looks very promising so far.
You are always so incredibly skeptical. But seriously, the UI improvements we are seeing across all these foundational models lately are just making them so much more accessible and useful to everyday people.
I cannot argue with that point at all. The rapid shift from simple text boxes to fully interactive workspaces is definitely the biggest and most important trend in AI interfaces right now.
Well, that is officially all the time we have for today's show. It has been an absolutely wild week in AI, and I am definitely ready to unplug for a couple of days.
Same here. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to us break down the noise. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will be back on Monday.